Novak Djokovic is into the last 8 at the Rolex Paris Masters after Gael Monfils withdrew injured, giving the top seed a walkover. Novak Djokovic will face Taylor Fritz in a rematch of one of the more bizarre matches of the year. The pair are set to face off in the Paris Masters quarterfinal, 9 months after they played an eventful 5-setter at the Australian Open, that saw the world number 1 look down and out, as the crowd were escorted out of the stands mid-match when new lockdown rules kicked in. Djokovic is currently playing his first tournament since suffering a heartbreaking defeat in the US Open final 2 months ago. The 34-year-old came within one match of history, as he was gunning to become the first man in 52 years to win the calendar Grand Slam, as well as the first male singles player in history to reach a record 21 major titles. After suffering a straight sets defeat at the hands of Daniil Medvedev in Flushing Meadows, the world number 1 failed to play the Masters 1000 event in Indian Wells, and made his return to competition in Paris this week. He came through a tough opening match against Martin Fucsovics on Tuesday, November 2, needing almost 2 hours to overcome the world no 4-0, 6-2, 4, 6, 6-3. Djokovic was due to face home favourite Gael Monfils on Thursday, November 4, but the Frenchman was forced to withdraw injured just hours before the match, handing the top seed a walkover into the quarter-final. He will now face the new American number 1 Taylor Fritz, who all but ended Cameron Norrie's hopes of qualifying for the ATP Finals when he beat the Brit 6-3, 7-6, 3. It will be a rematch of a bizarre third-round encounter between the pair at the Australian Open earlier this year. The 34-year-old was leading by 2 sets when he suddenly looked down and out, affected by an abdominal injury after slipping, later saying it was a torn muscle. As Fritz was serving at 1-1 in the third set, the Serb slipped and received an immediate medical timeout once the game was over, as he continued to get treatment throughout the set, later telling Eurosport, "I was debating really strongly in my head to retire the match after 2 games because I couldn't move. I couldn't rotate, I couldn't return. The only thing I could do is serve, and that is what got me out of trouble." With the 20-time Grand Slam champion suddenly injured, the American was able to fight back and win the third. As if the injury drama wasn't enough, the match was a tale of 2 halves as the crowd were ejected shortly before new lockdown laws in Melbourne went into effect at midnight. On a Friday night in Rod Laver Arena, the spectators knew they would likely not see the match end, whether it was because Djokovic would retire or because an 11:30 p.m. curfew ahead of a new 5-day lockdown in the state of Victoria was imminent. Thousands of people enjoying one last night out before a short lockdown cheered, jeered and even occasionally booed from the stands, with Djokovic on the receiving end of the jibes. With Fritz a break-up in the 4th set, as the clock struck 11:30 p.m., fans were ejected from the stadium as the players suspended play to encourage spectators to leave. They returned to play in silence, and after the 24-year-old managed to force a fifth and final set, Djokovic was able to find his form again after struggling to move, and claimed a 7-6-1, 6-4, 3, 6-4, 6, 6-2 victory over Fritz in front of an empty stadium at 12:20 a.m. Speaking after the match, Djokovic said it was one of the most special wins of his life, adding, "It doesn't matter what round it is and against who it is, under these kinds of circumstances, to pull this through is definitely something I will remember forever." He will now get a chance to face the world number 26 on a hard court once again when the pair face off in Paris-Bercy on Friday, November 5, as Djokovic hunts a record 7th year-end world number 1 finish.